Hey everybody, before we get started, I just wanted to say, if you enjoy our content and want to stay up to date with our videos, hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel. Thanks. So, on to the video.
Henry awakens to the sight of Teresa overlooking him. She was in Skalitz after the raid and noticed Bishek and his new friends. Teresa feared she may have been too late, but noticed the soldiers from Talmberg approaching. Using her quick thinking, she distracted the bandits by revealing herself, buying a few precious moments for Sir Radzig and his men to come charging through Skalitz. From what Henry gathers from Teresa, Sir Divish sent Radzig and his men after him once they noticed he was missing. Teresa lost everything in the Skalitz raid. She was practically waiting to die until she noticed Henry needed help. Once Henry was saved, Teresa mended and looked after him. She was then escorted halfway to Rattay by Radzig. They're both staying at Teresa's uncle's house at Rattay Mill, just outside of the city. She convinced her uncle to take Henry in as well. She is glad he's doing better, as her uncle is beginning to grow impatient, as Henry's been in bed for nearly 2 weeks recovering, and all medical needs and food paid for by her uncle. Henry is thankful to them both and does whatever he can to pay them back throughout the game in side quests. But his first goal after waking up is to speak to Sir Radzig and inform him that his sword was stolen by the Skalitz bandits. Henry finds him in the Rattay Palace feasting alongside Sir Hanush and Sir Lord Capon. They discuss current matters in the land. Sir Hanush is currently ruling Rattay for his ward, Sir Lord Capon, until he comes of age. After Skalitz, Rattay took in the refugees and are lending one of the 2 castles to Sir Radzig and his men. Tensions are high, and crime and poverty are on the rise due to the influx of people. Hanush plainly says that the people will have to deal with it until the situation is resolved. The priest wonders what this war is even about. Radzig understands the confusion and explains that he believes Sigismund's original plan was to persuade Wenceslas into accepting the imperial crown and leave the rule of Bohemia to him. Hanush believes Wenceslas brought all this chaos upon himself. Being Wenceslas' personal friend, Radzig understands his perspective, but he doesn't believe the lords that sided with Sigismund realize what Hungarian rule really looks like. Sir Capon wonders why Sigismund had to use human mercenaries rather than his own army. Hanush explains that wars are costly, and this war has gone on for over a year now. Sigismund is out of coin for knights, so he recruited the Cumans, believing the less he pays them, the more the Cumans make up for it with plunder. When Henry arrives, he is immediately scolded by Radzig and the others for being so reckless. Henry informs Radzig that his sword was stolen. He is confused for a second, but Henry elaborates on which sword. Radzig says he's already lost Skalitz and half of his subjects. Why would he miss one sword? Henry wishes to retrieve it and bring it to Sir Radzig, as it was his father's final crafted sword, and he promised he would deliver it to him. Radzig understands how he feels, but Henry has no training at arms or a horse, and feels it's unlikely he will be able to complete such a feat in his current state. Henry asks him to become his squire so he can learn these things. Sir Capon objects, listing off all the troubles Henry's actions have caused. Fled the enemy, disobeyed orders, duped Sir Divish, lost the sword, and put Sir Radzig in danger. Radzig agrees with Capon on all fronts except for fleeing the enemy, as he believes anyone would have in that situation. He agrees Henry has earned some punishment, but he believes he's already lost everything. Radzig agrees to make Henry his squire, as a kindness to his father. He then assigns him to join the local guard to gather experience. Sir Hanush also believes seeing a familiar face among the guard might lighten things up for the Skalitz refugees. Hanush asks that Captain Bernard personally see to Henry's training. In training, Bernard teaches Henry some basic sword fighting and archery. Sir Capon wonders why Bernard is even wasting his time on Henry, as he believes Henry is a lowly peasant and nothing will come of him. The two begin to feud, but settle things with an archery and swordsmanship competition. After a day on patrol, Henry is assigned to close up the tavern for the night. When he arrives, he finds Sir Capon laughing drunkenly with 2 other men. He informs him curfew has been rung and the alehouse must close for the night. Sir Capon does not take it well, believing he's above the law, since he is the rightful lord of Rattay. But Henry makes it painfully clear to him that Sir Hanush is in charge, until he's grown up, which he comments clearly hasn't happened yet. This causes the 2 young men to break out into a fist fight.
Crucifix! What in the name of Christ is happening here? Hell? Answer me, damn you!
This peasant insulted me. I had to teach him a lesson.
By rolling around in the mud like a hog? That's a fine example of noble conduct.
Sir Hanush, the bailiff ordered me
Silence! You shut your mouth and thank your lucky stars that you are Radzig's ward. Have you gone out of your mind? Raising your hand to a nobleman? And you, Hans, how many times have I told you that with your subjects might be good for their morale, but it's bad for your honor? You spend all your days drinking and chasing wenches, which wouldn't matter if you paid any attention at all to your duties. And now we see what that leads to. Tomorrow, you will go with me to a hearing. Some landowners have asked me to settle a dispute. It'll be an excellent lesson for you.
I had planned to go hunting, but if you think listening to the pointless gripes of a bunch of old fools will benefit me, so be it.
Oh, hunting? Well then, Your Grace, I'll tell you what. You can go hunting.
Really?
Oh, naturally. Who am I to deprive the young Lord Capon of his sport? And you can take Henry here as your page.
Him? Absolutely not.
You'll do as I've commanded. It's time you learned how to lead people, and not just in drinking and brawling. Now get out of my sight.
Sir, I have responsibilities as the bailiff.
Not anymore. Your responsibilities now are the Lord Capon. It's time you learned how to behave in the presence of nobility.
The next day, Henry follows Sir Capon hunting as his personal bodyguard. On the way, he apologizes for the way he acted at the alehouse. Henry admits he was being disrespectful to him because of how he talked to him in the training yard. Capon says that he was just teasing him, but that he was also a bit jealous, as Henry was rewarded and promoted for being reckless, while anytime he does anything similar, even for his own honor, Sir Hanush always punishes him. Henry apologizes and understands Capon a bit more. The young lord says it's all water under the bridge, and that the two of them should enjoy the hunt. The two make camp for the day and plan to head out hunting in the morning. While there, Henry can choose to tell Capon more about Skalitz. He also learns a bit more about Capon's specific situation. Before his father died, he appointed a council of nobles to decide whether Capon has come to age and fit to rule. Meanwhile, Sir Hanush runs and watches over things. Even though Capon is of age, the nobles can't be bothered to travel across the country to assess his claim. Under normal circumstances, the king would decide on his adulthood, but he is currently gone due to Sigismund's meddling. The next morning, the two head out hunting. Eventually, they come upon a boar. Capon tries to take it down with a single arrow, but to his dismay, the boar just gets back up and runs away. He runs after it on his horse, and Henry chases after Capon in the thick woods on foot. There is no sign of the boar, but Henry does come upon a small human camp, and there, tied up on a post, is Lord Capon, badly beaten and wounded. Henry takes it upon himself to dispatch the two humans and save Capon from their clutches. He then helps the wounded lord walk all the way back to Rattay on foot. Capon is incredibly thankful to Henry and seems humbled a bit by the whole ordeal. Once in the castle and Capon is being tended to, Henry is called into a meeting between Sir Hanush and Radzig. Hanush is surprised the humans were seen so close to the castle and plans to send out more patrols. Radzig says it won't help as there are too many forests and land to cover. Once Henry arrives, Hanush thanks him for saving Sir Capon. After seeing how far Henry has come, his loyalty to his liege, and courage, Sir Radzig takes him into his personal service. The three toast to Henry's new promotion and Sir Capon's recovery. While celebrating, Captain Bernard comes in breathless and in a hurry. He says he received news that brigands raided the horse farm of Neuhof. Many are dead and maimed. Hanush is furious and asks who did such a thing. Bernard is working with little information, but the stable boy messenger only gave a vague description of a large man in black armor. This tips off Henry, believing that this may be the same man who stole Lord Radzig's sword. Hanush instructs Bernard to find those responsible and take as many men as he needs. Henry offers himself to help, explaining that this may be the same man he is looking for. The lords agree to send Henry along as well, rewarding him with a horse for saving Sir Capon. In Neuhof, Henry and Bernard go over the crime scene. It seems as though the bandits did not steal anything and focused on causing as much damage as possible, killing random civilians and horses. Asking around, Henry confirms that the man in black armor was indeed there. The bandits attacked just before dawn and set the stables ablaze. Focusing on killing the animals, the stable owner called out for help and the villagers came out to fight back. It seems as though the bandits had some sort of disagreement, as some quarreling between each other could be heard. Some ran for the hills to the north, and the rest kept on raiding the stables. Henry finds two bandits in the forest to the north, one of them wounded. After dispatching them, he finds a bloody hoof pick on their person. After some investigating, it's revealed it belongs to one of the villagers, Ginger. But by the time you head back to the village, Ginger is long gone. After more investigating, Henry finds Ginger being hidden by some nearby charcoal farmers he's friends with. Ginger explains that while relieving himself in the middle of the night, he saw the bandits coming to attack. Afraid of being killed, Ginger began to sneak away after they passed, believing that they would just steal some horses and that would be the end of it. But then the senseless killing began. He noticed some of the bandits started fighting amongst themselves and ran back towards him. That is when one of them bumped into Ginger and took his hoof pick, telling him to lay low if he wanted to live. Ginger recognized this man from playing dice in the tavern in Skalitz, recognizing his limp leg. Henry summarizes, afterwards, the two bandit factions had a skirmish in the woods, leading to one of them being stabbed with the hoof pick. Henry informs Lord Radzig what he has found out so far, then heads to Skalitz to find his suspect. But he is too late, as the bandit known as Limpy Lubosh was murdered and gutted in his own home for all to see, with the word traitor written over his head. Most likely the bandits came out to silence him after their falling out in Neuhof. After more investigating, Henry comes to find that Lubosh visited the local priest before he was killed. Father Godwin admits Lubosh visited him before he died. He also admits knowing what Lubosh was doing on the night Neuhof was raided, as he came to confession, but is unable to help with the investigation due to his vows as a priest. Father Godwin genuinely wants to help Henry, but claims he's unable to break his vows. He invites Henry to the tavern at night to talk over wine and see if the two of them can come up with a workaround. But instead, the two of them spend the night recklessly drinking past curfew.
Do wczorajszylne staje prach, už sejmoj svatý muži, nechtěl bych bej v jejich kůži. Nám je to jedno a tak si dáme jedno a požerem si huby jako poslední den. Buďme se mávi, ano rada slávy a tak vypal sudy a posaď se mi sem, tak posaď se sem a vypal je ven. Ukaž kozy jako vozy, zítra je tu soudnej den, tak nalej mi hned, až točí se zpět.
Well, I have to say that was a fine evening.
The next morning, after being woken up by Godwin's mistress, Godwin realizes he is about to miss preaching for Mass, but he is still too drunk and hungover to do it. So in order to get Henry's help, he promises to reveal who Lubosh confessed he was working with if he gives the sermon in his place.
The lad spoke well, considering what a soak he is.
He's right, that was.
The young man shouldn't drink so much, but the Lord's given him a silver
Glad he
tongue.
came here. I don't suppose I'll ever get to Prague, and he told it nicely.
Well, well, my boy, you have talent, and I can't deny it. And you pulled a thorn from my side. I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I noticed. I wasn't the only one.
Oh, what's to be done? I'll make it up somehow.
So, about our bargain.
Although it's a sin,
So's gluttony and fornication.
God does forgive a penitent.
So, what did Limpy Lubosh tell you? Was he at Neuhof that day? Who was with him? And where are they now?
Now, slow down. I'm sorry, but he didn't tell me that much.
Don't let me down after all I've been through. For you...
Well, now Lubosh came to me shortly after it happened. His conscience was gnawing at him. And I must say, in the end, he turned out to be a better man than he looked. He said they'd been hired through some crony of theirs. And at first, they were just to steal some horses. But then it all turned sour and people started getting killed. And neither he nor his cronies wanted anything to do with that. So they fell out from the gang and fled.
Fell out? Yeah, there was a body found in the woods by Neuhof.
That would explain something. Lubos kept jabbering that he wasn't a murderer, that he didn't want to do it.
So I know that Lubos killed the murderer and he's dead too. The trouble is, I need to find the ones who are still alive. I need names and places. Did he mention any of the others?
Only nicknames. Talked about some fella called Riki from Ledechko, Pius, Timmy.
Pius. That lot are about as pious as I am ordained.
Nonsense. You would make an excellent priest. And anyhow, with your skills, you ought to be able to sniff out this Riki from Ledechko, right?
Well, we'll have to now. There's not much else to go on. Let's hope he's not hanging from the wall, too.
Indeed. And I'd hate to be excommunicated for nothing. Anyhow, good luck. You watch out for yourself. These people clearly mean business. And I'd like to raise a tankard with you again sometime.
Yeah, I'll try. Although I'm not sure I'd survive another night of your debauchery.
And if anyone should ask, you heard nothing from me. I'll deny everything.
I don't doubt it.
Using the information provided by Godwin, Henry heads out to find the other members of the gang. After investigating, Riki is found in his secret poaching hideout in the woods, stabbed and bleeding out. He learns the leader's name is Runt, and his men stabbed Riki and left him to die, but Henry is able to extract a few more pieces of information before he passes, which leads him to the next member, Timmy, who knows the location of the bandit camp, as he went there personally. At Timmy's last known location, he runs into a group of Runt's men while investigating. After handling them, Henry finds Timmy's real location through his sister and gets instructions on how to find the bandit camp. Henry finds the abandoned city of Pribislavitz to the north of Talmberg, now taken over by Runt's bandit horde. As he spies on them, he notices Cumans have taken up residence as well. After sabotaging supplies, looking at defenses and number of men, Henry takes all this information he's gathered back to Lord Radzig. Radzig is surprised Cumans have joined forces with the bandits, wondering what Sigismund's motive was. He then asks Henry to call upon Sir Divish and Sir Hanish to bring as many men as they can. Then, the battle for Pribislavitz begins.
Stand your ground, you dogs! Drive them back!
I will cleave you in two, you bastard. You tried before, and yet here I am. What? Who the hell are you?
You don't remember me? I remember you, though. Now, where's my fucking sword?
What the fuck are you on about? What's... Hang on. You're the... Fuck me. I thought we left you to the crows. Tough little fucker, eh?
What did you do with my sword?
Judging by our last encounter, I'd say you made a big mistake coming here.
Where's my fucking sword?
But then again, maybe you've had some practice. I hope so. Because last time was too easy. fur for a peasant brat.
It's not over yet, you scum. Now where's my sword? What have you done with it? Talk, you bastard!
I'll see you in hell.
Tell me, do you hear me? Tell me what you've done with it!
I'd say you're flogging a dead horse there.
You took him down. On your own. Well done. Nice work. You surprised me. He was a mountain of a man.
He was the one who attacked Neuhof. And stole your sword, sir.
The thought did cross my mind. What did he tell you? We'd taken him alive, the executioner might have gotten more out of him. Oh well, these things happen in the heat of battle. Anyway, we found a trunk full of coin down below. Someone was paying this gang very well. There were some of Sigismund's barbarians among them. I don't think we've seen the last of this. Whoever engineered it was highly placed. They won't give up after one defeat. This louse was just a pawn.
I'm afraid you're right, sir. Well, lad, we live to fight another day, eh? That's the fear leaving you, lad. Let it go. Now, put it all behind you. A decent Christian shouldn't dwell on such horrors.
I beg to differ, sir. I never want to forget this. The time has come for those whoresons to pay for what they did to us.
You're right, my boy. But first, we all need some rest. We'll meet later in the upper castle in Rattay and then decide what to do next. Come what may, you did a good job today.
I will make you pay for this. It's time for the next part of our plan. Give the word.
Yes, sir.